Flowerworks HD Follie's adventure at quick glance may be easily dismissible with its, well, rather unappetizing visuals, but as the old adage goes, don't judge a book by its cover, because underneath the hood might be something quite satisfactory. Follie's adventure is actually not a brand new game. No, it originally released as a WiiWare title back in 2009, but developer Nocturnal Entertainment decided to bring the little green alien back into the spotlight as a remastered version on the Wii U eShop. Though Flowerworks' presentation is not exactly ideal, the gameplay is surprisingly fun. After setting out on the adventure and playing through the first few levels, you really get the feeling that you're playing an old school arcade game where you're trying to rack up some serious high scores. Your objective in each of the 50 stages is to pollinate flowers by shooting color-coded pollen to the corresponding flowers, but the mechanics go much deeper than that, and that's where the game really starts to shine. If the pollen you shoot hits more pollen along the way to the flower, that pollen will become more powerful, the colors of the pollen will mix, and a firework will shoot up into the sky to explode into a flurry of colors. Besides giving off a nice visual showpiece, the fireworks will boost the growth of the closest matching flower, and you could even send off a chain reaction by having 2 or more fireworks exploding near each other, and as a result, your eyes will have a sensory overload from the explosion of colors snaking across the screen. With such a simple design, Flowerworks gameplay has a lot going for it, and even on the easiest of the game's 5 difficulties, it gets pretty challenging towards the latter part of the adventure. Now, as I've stated, you can mix the colors of pollen by colliding them with other pollen, and this ramps up the challenge as a particular flower may only grow from that mixed color. And to also give you a run for your money, poison will fall from the sky infecting the pollen when hit, thus harming the flowers, and even affecting Follie by incapacitating him for a brief moment. Now, even though there isn't a specific timer for each stage, you are still constantly on the tips of your toes. The pressure is on to make sure you feed all the flowers, because if you neglect one for any length of time, they will start to wilt, which will eventually result in a dreaded game over. Even if you manage to keep the flowers alive though, you're still prone to fail, as once a flower blossoms, a countdown will start and you'll need to rush to get the other flowers to blossom before time runs out, or voila, failure's knocking at the door. So really, it becomes a game of trying to rack up points, chaining up combos to unleash hundreds of fireworks, and keeping an eye out for oversought flowers hungry for pollen. There is really a lot to juggle, and even though every stage is mostly more of the same, fatigue doesn't really set in from its repetitiveness, so that's a plus. Now, at the end of each stage, you are awarded 1 to 5 stars, depending on how high your score is, and the stars you collect are used on the overworld to, as the game puts it, pacify garden gnomes that are impeding your path to even more levels. Traversing the overworld in Follie's adventure though is definitely where the game hits its weak point, alongside its visuals, but thankfully you aren't in it for long lengths of time in between levels, and if you want, you can instantly teleport to previously explored areas, so you can get straight to the good stuff. Now, whereas Follie can move in a buttery smooth 360 degrees during the stages, his mobility on the world map is the complete opposite, being stiff and rigid. Plus, it doesn't help when you're cruising around constantly bumping into obstacles that don't even look like obstacles, and mind you, there are a ton of them. The only redeemable things about the adventuring aspects of Flowerworks is the satisfaction of opening up new areas and using coins found scattered throughout the planet to buy new abilities from the NPCs, to make things a little bit easier during the actual stages. Now, Flowerworks' other low point is definitely its visuals. Sure, this remastered version may have been bumped up to 1080p and runs at 60 frames per second, but just because it supports that doesn't make the visuals any better. There's a mixture of both colorful cartoony graphics and pseudo-realistic art, and the latter just brings the game down. The realistic artwork has a low resolution, making it feel cheap, and it doesn't help that they look like they were copy and pasted into the game world. But even though you may not be paying for mind-blowing visuals, you'll definitely be getting your money's worth in terms of the amount of content that Flowerworks HD is packing, as just trying to complete the 50 stages will take hours. Plus, you can always go back to previously played stages with the abilities you've acquired throughout your adventure to try and get 5 golden delights in each and every one. And if you want to take a break from the game's main journey, you can always pass some time in free play mode to earn higher and higher scores. But an online leaderboard for this mode would have been welcoming to give a reason for those high scores. But for only $6, Flowerworks HD Follie's adventure is not a bad investment if you want a little something on your Wii U to pass some time. Though it may be lacking in certain departments, namely its visuals and overworld, the arcade-like gameplay of each and every stage makes up for what may be holding it back. So if you don't mind a game that is a little rough around the edges but has an engaging action arcade-like center to it, then Flowerworks HD is for you. But in all, the GamingPixelShow.com is awarding Flowerworks HD Follie's adventure with a 3.5 out of 5. But that will bring us to the end of this review, and if you like what you saw, please give it a thumbs up and add your favorites and all that good stuff, and you can stay tuned for more news videos, video reviews, and that's on me for episodes. But I will talk to you later in the next video, guys. Bye!